Welcome, my friends, to the Quantum Shamans presented by MOSHI, the Ministry of Shamanic Healing and Integration, bringing you insights into the spiritual secrets of the mind and the universe around you. We are here to help you on your spiritual journey and path of healing. And now your hosts, David and Anthony.
Welcome to Quantum Shamans presented by MOSHI. This is episode 15 with the lovely Jacqueline V. Welcome, Jacqui.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really excited.
Before we get started, Dave, could you please recite the MOSHI vision statement?
The Ministry of Shamanic Healing aims to help individuals heal from spiritual maladies stored as energy in the subconscious that manifest in the form of trauma, PTSD, physical illness, mental health issues, and addiction. These practices include but are not limited to yoga, breathwork, meditation and mindfulness practices, Reiki, sweat lodge ceremonies, sensory deprivation, sacred plants, and any other rituals we collectively decide to establish. We hold ritual ceremonies for our community to heal collectively in a safe space, as well as individual ritual healing tailored to the members of our collective for the purpose of intensive inner work. Our most important responsibility is to help our members integrate their individual and collective experiences in order to ameliorate their spiritual maladies and spread love for the betterment of mankind. Our belief is that our collective consciousness is God. Every living organism has a purpose and is essential for homeostasis. From the single-cell organisms to the observable universe, we are all connected and equally important. We all deserve love, respect, peace, harmony, and forgiveness. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. Love conquers all.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, Dave. Harmonized love. I love it. Jacqui, you're the embodiment of harmonized love. I just love you, and I'm so glad you're here today.
Love you too.
That's so fantastic. It's so great. So I met you, I don't even know how long. It feels like 100 years ago.
I know.
It wasn't too long ago.
It's like maybe going on 2 years.
Something like that.
Time doesn't exist.
So, Jacqui, tell us what's going on in your world. Tell us about your business. Tell us about these things. Tell us about Jacqui.
So, yes. So, I am the owner of Old Brooklyn Nutrition. We are going to be hitting our 3 years here in October. So, we specialize in doing energizing teas, meal replacement shakes. So we do pre-post workout, and then we work one-on-one with people who are trying to hit like health goals. That way, the products that we do sell in the shop that you can come in and get, you can make at home as well. We do a customized meal plan for you, and then we do workouts and things of that nature just to kind of build community, bring people together, and, hit these health goals all together. And, because I feel like sometimes, when we're on that journey, we tend to kind of like cover ourselves and want to try to do it by ourselves. But I feel like the community is like the best part, and having somebody help you get there is even more important.
That's beautiful. That's a great form of leadership.
Thanks.
And that's systemic healing.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what's happening. You're creating a beautiful system healing is what's happening, guiding people into greater parts of their mind and body and soul, because it's all connected. It's all one thing. I'm always trying to get people to move. Movement is medicine, because you do some other things too besides shakes and teas and other things. What other things are you doing over there at OBN at Old Brooklyn Nutrition?
So I am a Zumba instructor, so we do Zumba. And then I work with some other wonderful ladies that teach Zumba as well. And then I do have like a twerk fit class, help the ladies, get the dump trucks, because that's what everybody wants. But it's fun, it's like upbeat, really challenges people. We started doing, our breathwork sessions and our sound healing. We do, one of our really big events we do is like our vision board at the beginning of the year. We all try to get together and set those goals. And then we do, we've done paint and sips. We've done a lot of things. And now it's just like we're getting ready for the new chapter. We're launching some new menu items. And then we're going to be starting up some new classes because I'm in yoga certification now.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
Cool. More medicine. More medicine routes, medicine ways. Me and Dave are all about that. We're always open to try to receive as much information and medicine from all other people. That's kind of the way of the Paco. We're meant to absorb energy and radiate energy. So that's a beautiful thing. So what led you into this? So talk a little bit about like your history, like whatever comes forward or seems pertinent to you. What brought you into this? Because, you know, we all have a story that brings us into this need to bring healing or connection. Community is a form of healing, to bring that leadership. What stoked that? What brought that out in you?
So, as I was married when I first got into this whole business, and I was just really, I tried the whole stay-at-home mom thing. It wasn't really for me. I like to be out, I like to be around people, but I was just really tired all the time. I just never really felt good. I was 29 years old, and I'm like, I'm not even 30 yet. This is not how I wanted to spend the rest of my life. And then at that time, I had great grandparents that were still alive. And I'm like, I'm not going to feel like this forever. I was sleeping all the time. I always had stomach aches. I always had headaches. You know, I was definitely getting up there in weight because I was an athlete in high school. So after not moving as much, I snapped back after I had my children. That was easy. But just something about that 30 coming, and I was like, something really had to give. So I started going to the gym, running, because, that's what we think we got to do to make a change, is just to move in some direction. And my coach, who didn't find me, found my husband at the time. And then, my husband, that wasn't his thing. He's like, oh yeah, but here's my wife's number. And he definitely, I'm so grateful, he did not give up. Like, he literally came to my job and was like, you got to come to this workout. You got to try these shakes. You got to try these teas. He had a whole group with him, and they were all out and inviting people to come to this workout. And I went, and I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to take a change. And the first week that I did it, I lost 5 pounds.
Nice.
I had energy. My kids, they were coming to the workouts with me, so that was really important for them to be able to come with me. They had provided daycare, and they worked out with us. That's where I got some Zumba. We were playing dodgeball. We were working out. Everybody's high-fiving, and you're like, wait a minute, is this real life?
Yeah.
There's these strangers that don't know me, but you could feel the energy that they just want something for you. And
not from you.
Yeah, not from you.
Right.
That's so important.
Yeah.
So I had made the decision that I wanted to kind of start this business, and I think it was probably 3 or 4 years of back and forth, because it's not easy when you start. You get the results, you go, and then you get comfortable. You kind of fall off, and then you keep going. And then when I started helping more people, that helped me stay more accountable. And fast forward all the way until COVID was the only job that I had left. I got laid off of everything else. But we were still able to go and work at the nutrition shop and serve, our shakes and teas, because we were considered essential. And we were the bright light for everybody's day. Everybody's stuck in front of their computer, stuck in front of, with their kids in the house. And we were
the news, the story.
Yeah. We're just that breath of fresh air. We're like, hey, let's just make your day better with a shake and tea. And so after that, when everything opened up in May, I signed my lease in August, and then we opened in October. And then I opened 10/10/20. That was my opening date.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. That's wonderful. So this is a primarily Herbalife.
Yes.
Correct.
So we partner with Herbalife.
What would you say about that? What would you
So
say
Herbalife is the #1 nutrition company in the world right now. It's a weight management company. So everybody thinks it's weight loss. It's weight management. So our products are good for, gaining muscle, losing weight, maintaining weight. Personally, for me, I've started trying a lot of new products because, I'm working on like focusing on my chakras and stuff like that. So, my first one I chose was, the heart chakra I love. So I started taking some good omega-3s. We have like a nitric oxide, helps with blood flow, circulation. So it's like really just tapping into the different things that we offer that kind of just feeds your body. And we literally have so many things that it's way more than shakes and teas. You got vitamin D, we got some Tenquay for our ladies, to help with those, situations that we get ourselves into every month.
Yeah.
We have skincare. I love our shampoo and conditioner. That's why my curls be awesome. So like Herbalife really did change my life, and I continue to see. I was just in here the other night, and a lady came into me. She's like, I was on it in the 90s, and it just changed my life, and I'm ready to get back to it. I'm like, all right, let's go, girl. I gave her my card, and it's just like, it's so amazing. It's been around for 40 years, and people are still like, haven't heard of it. Or people are like, oh, I remember that, and I need it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely heard about it before, and now besides working in your space, we work in many other Herbalife spaces all over this area, and there's a few more popping up. We like to work. It feels like the people that are connected in this are all kind of like a family. Yeah. Like I feel this family sensation when I connect with certain people at other stores that know each other, and almost everywhere I go, everybody knows you. So.
Yeah, and it's so
notorious.
I know, and that's so funny to me because, like, for a long time, like, I love doing what I do, but I'm always like, let me just be a small little, just keep quiet, just stay in your lane, like all of those things that we tell ourselves that we may need to be successful. I just kind of keep my nose down and keep going. And I'm glad that I've made this impact that I just, by doing what I love, like I wasn't trying.
Right. That's when it works the best.
Yeah. I was just like,
shows up.
I just want everybody to feel as amazing as I felt because I know how bad that I used to feel.
Yeah.
So
I can totally get on board with that. Yeah. No doubt about it. What was I going to ask you? I had something else I was going to ask you, but it kind of went poof and kind of went away. So did you have any like spiritual awareness or experience earlier on in your life, or where did that start? Where did your spiritual awareness start to open? Or
so I can remember just as young as like 7, 8, like my grandmother would talk to us about like the chakras when she'd give us like little massages, and she would like pinch us. And now I look back and I'm like, she was taking the energy, the bad energy, and
let me take that hoocha from you.
Yeah, and she was snapping it out. But I've always kind of like knew that I've had like a feeling. I just didn't know what it was. I just thought I was like a good friend. Like I was just the person people would come and tell their problems to, or they would come to advice for. And I was a sheltered person. Like I didn't really have a lot of experience, but I was able to look at situations with a different perspective for a lot of people. And that kind of just fluctuated all through like high school and into my adult life. And I think my first time trying like anything psychedelic was like 18. But we was just partying. I didn't really know.
Yeah, it's always different then.
It's kind of different then. But like I remember like having really profound experiences on mushrooms. And like having real conversations about the future that when I look back, they did happen. And I'm like, well, did I make it happen? Or did I see it happening?
What's the difference?
That's what I'm saying. Now it's like, it doesn't even know. But it was like, wow.
Yeah.
I let it open me, and I just didn't know what that was then.
Yeah, I can totally agree to that. When I was a young man, I ate copious amounts of LSD that I didn't really get anything out of. But I do recall having like oneness experiences. Like I had this, I didn't know what it was. Like how you're saying, I don't really know what it was, but I felt something. I wasn't really sure what that is. So it's totally different now. Now when I use the medicines, I use it with an intention, and it's to improve. It takes something apart, improve the flow of energy in my life and my being.
Yes, it's a totally different aspect now.
Yeah. So since you brought up about psychedelics, what is your current standpoint, ideas of psychedelics? What's your current
I
feelings?
definitely think that it's a very... I think it's amazing. Personally, I think that it's very unfortunate that we have to go through all these hoops so that everybody has this option, because they have for years cultivated so much fear around something that is so beneficial compared to what they're trying to treat us with now. And I've just recently, we call it the pill mill, like just went through all of that. The pill mill. I think I've tried 4 different prescription medicines in probably the last 6 months.
Yeah. Trying to alleviate symptoms.
Yes, trying to alleviate symptoms that I didn't understand where they came from, because I was just never like that before.
Right. Not looking, because everything's rising. So like it's a rising consciousness that's happening all over the globe. And so that's common. What I see in my practice all over the place is people saying, I don't know where this is coming from or what this is. But what it is as our frequency rises, all that is not in alignment will rise for transmutation. Along with that, usually, is our inability, because we don't live in a world where there's sages, shamans, and seers in the neighborhood for you to go visit and get wisdom from, to get experience and knowledge from. So we end up going to what we've been taught to do. I don't feel right, I'm going to go see a doctor. Well, the doctor is only trained in a certain way to help you take care of symptoms. And as we grow, it's understanding, and one of my primary teachings is understand that your symptoms are messengers. They're just showing you that there's something that needs to change. It's not that you have a medication deficiency. Right. Not saying that medications are all bad. Some people need that to get to the next step.
Yeah, no.
Right?
And I definitely think that if it wasn't for my awareness of my body that I have developed over the years, just being in the health and wellness industry, that I would have went into this pill mill looking for the solution instead of using the medicine and trying to see what it was showing me. And it's medicine they give you. Then you're supposed to alleviate these symptoms, but then you have this other list.
Right, because you're not taking care of the underlying issue.
You're not taking care of the underlying
those
issue.
Symptoms manifest in other ways. They just pop up. It's like plugging a hole in a balloon. Eventually it's going to expand somewhere else and pop out somewhere else.
Yes, and that's exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
And it was like, you can't.
That energy behind that is still there.
Yeah.
You have to go in and transmute it.
I have an interesting way that I project that. I call it the Flintstone bump effect. You ever watch the Flintstones? There's been episodes where, like, say, Fred gets hit over the head and a bump shows up and he pushes the bump down and it pops out somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's what I call it, the Flintstone bump effect. Like, you're going to keep pushing the bump down, but it's going to keep rising.
Yeah.
And after a while, I know about this firsthand, because before me and Jacqui were talking about how stubborn my old mind used to be, and how it had to lead me, how I understand it had to lead me into deep forms of illness, like deep forms of emotional pain and struggling, which led to physical breakdown, to where I had terminal disease.
Yeah.
And it's like, I forgot all about that usually. It's always blows my mind to sit here and think, wow, I've recovered from terminal disease. What else can we do? You know, I know anything's possible, but I definitely was suffering from that Flintstone bump effect. I try to push it down, hide from it, boom, boom, alcohol, drugs, medications, all kinds of things. We find that we become very powerful escapists is what we are. And that's something that I'm always helping people. I help lots of people through, coming out of the other side of addiction. And one of my primary teachings is that sobriety is not the opposite of addiction.
No.
That's not the truth. Because where does addiction stem from? Escapism. Mm-hmm. I know about this firsthand because it's all I did was escape. Use the compounds to escape, right? But I never needed to escape. What I needed to do was accept, open myself up to allow myself to feel what I need to feel. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The medications I was on, because that started when I was a kid. I was 17 years old when I was always been very sensitive. And I just thought that means like emotionally sensitive. And I try to hide from that. But what is emotional sensitivity? It's energy sensitivity. Because your emotion is vibration and frequency. It was overwhelming to me. Yeah. So I had to find ways to escape. And I didn't live in a world where the people who were raising me were the same way.
When was the first time you cried after being in that state?
The first time is when I had a really powerful spiritual experience. It was after something really rough happened. So, with the lung disease, I couldn't sleep or laugh or cry or severe limitations. And what happened was one night, Mary just playing with me, she had cold hands. This is before cold treatment.
King of cold over here.
Yeah, before I became a polar bear. Mary put her cold hands on me and it caused me to gasp. And I couldn't gasp at that time. So I took in this big gasp of air and it put me in this severe coughing fit. And I coughed my face off for like 20 minutes. And then after that, I had bronchitis, severe bronchitis, and it lasted almost 2 weeks. And it was so bad. And then something really amazing happened while I was kind of laying in my bed. I didn't sleep for a couple days and everything, I just started to weep. It started to release in me. That was like an early part. There was these little phases where it would show up, but I didn't cry for 28 years.
Yeah.
I tried. I was like, oh, I'm so close. And I'd sit there and me and Mary would start talking about my childhood and the things that hurt and the things that were unprocessed and everything. And I'd feel it start to rise, but my default network would just cut it right off. Like, nah, you're not going to cry, buddy. And I'd start laughing. I can't believe I'm crying. And it would be so frustrating because all I wanted to do is cry, because crying is such a natural thing that we actually need to do. It's not something we're supposed to hide. We live in a society where if someone sees someone crying, their first reaction is to stop them from crying. No, I want to share that with you. Maybe I'll cry with you if it comes up, but otherwise I'll hold you while you cry. I'm not going to stuff a tissue in your hair. Like, no, don't cry because it makes me feel bad about me.
That was that's one of the biggest things, because we didn't cry in our family. Nobody. There's no.
Yeah, same.
There's no emotions. We just don't talk about those things. Not that it's a bad thing. We just don't. It makes everybody really, really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's part of that program. It's passed down.
Not society we live in.
Yeah, and that's just was such a thing for me. I think my first ecstatic dance, I cried. Our first healing session, I cried. I feel like I just cry all the time now, but it's not. I don't feel bad about it no more. Sometimes I let it go. If I feel like crying all day, I'll get somebody to cover my, my shift if I have to. And if I have to, dry the tears up and go into work, then I'll do that too. But I didn't realize how powerful it is to cry.
To honor your emotions.
Yeah.
We're not meant to hide from them. We're meant to feel them. And then that keeps us from being trapped in them.
Yeah. And I always used to say that I don't handle stress. My body handles stress.
True. That's true.
And it was very true. And that was my marker. That's when I know it was too much. I was going too far, when I was totally just broken down. I've ended up in the hospital twice, needing IV for severe hydration, because I've gotten myself in a stressful spot to the point where I'm not dealing with it. My body's dealing with it, and that's where I was ending up. And that's where, okay, something needs to change.
Yeah, we just mentally disassociate.
Yeah, so when I started this health journey and I'm realizing, okay, this stuff in my body, maybe my my tooth chipped. I need some more vitamin D. Your body's always talking to you. People get upset because they gain weight rapidly, but it's like, okay, so what is you doing in your daily? Well, I can't sleep at night, so I go straight to the cupboard. Okay, like, well, why aren't you sleeping at night? What's keeping you up? Why is you going for something sweet? Why are you going for something salty? How is that interacting with your body? Like, all of these questions, you'll find your answer, but some people are like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, you do. It's just
good. And what I say is, when you don't know, now it's time for you to find out. Because that's one of my primary teachings is all the answers are available. We live in a quantum universe where all answers are available. The most difficult part is us learning how to question, put in the correct question. This also applies to like common life, to like Google. All right?
Yes.
So say you're looking for something. How you word it will actually show up and how the results show up. Like, this is something I learned early on. Like, if Mary Googles something, she'll Google in her ideas of language. I'll Google in my ideas of language, and we won't get the exact same answer. Right? So it's understanding how to communicate with spirit or communicate with energy to get that in. And just as you're pointing out, nobody's taught that, so they don't know that. And what we're always trying to do, the ego mind's always trying to blame some outside source.
Or look for an answer instead of just listen for it.
Yeah. Or feel,
Feel it.
Feeling for it. I always tell people, hey, I'll give you a question, and I've probably done it to you. I'll be like, I'll pose a question to you, like, don't think about it. Let go of that. Feel about it. Take time. Don't try it, because this mind, we have these wonderful minds, and they're so good for so many things. But for
so many questions.
Yeah, for finding new answers, not good, because we got to get away from that. And that's what our spiritual practice is. It's shutting down, releasing the thoughts. You're not trying to stop thinking. You're just putting your attention away from your thoughts, and you're not thinking about it. You're feeling about it. And this is when our guidance can really communicate with us. Really open up to communicate with us. And to improve that, that's a practice. That's our practices we get into and all those things. And just like you mentioned before, my body is handling it. It's trying to. It needs instructions from the higher self is what it is. Because we have somewhere between 40 and 100 trillion cells, depending on which scientist you listen to. Let's just say we have trillions and trillions of cells, more than there are stars in the sky, within inside of us. And each one of them has the capability to hold energy. Energy is information and light. So it totally gets trapped in the cellular structures. And if one don't know how to get rid of that, what happens? The Flintstone bump effect.
Yes.
You have that symptom that arises. The symptom's the messenger, and then we have a choice. Either I'm going to go into the symptom, take it apart, and make a change, if you know how. But if we don't know how, what happens is we bypass. We try to find ways around the symptom, medications. It can be anything, an addiction of some sort. We can get addicted to exercise. That's like how you just said,
or
running. I was running. Or food, there's really no limitation. I mean, there
is no limitation. When
people are really confused about what addiction is. Like,
or you can get addicted to therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything. You can get addicted. That's all forms of escape is what they are.
Yeah, if you're not trying to do something different, then you're trying to escape.
Right.
I mean, you could do something different in your escapism, like everybody
find a new way of escape. Yeah.
Finding a new way of escape, and or like maybe you're not drinking anymore, but you're eating, or you're not smoking no more, but you're vaping, or you're not doing something, but you're replacing it with something else. I think that a lot of us do get caught up in that, and I definitely believe that. I do have a lot of clients that be like, I'm addicted to going to the gym.
Oh, yeah, I work with, because before I was a shaman, I was a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer since 1999, and that was something, even myself, I've had addictions to exercise as escape because of how good you feel. Because the thing is, it's great medicine, but it's not the only thing you can do. I mean, movement is totally medicine. I always going to try to influence people to move and exercise, but the biggest exercise you're going to do is letting go, is allowing yourself to just sit in silence without doing, because doing's good. I'm all about doing. Let's get things done. Let's make things happen. But how does that come into fruition in its best way? By being. allowing yourself to be still. Be still. That's where meditation, breath work, these things, energy, connecting to the universe and just being still and letting it come to you becomes so powerful for us as we grow and expand.
Yes, because energy, it's your intention, your energy behind everything.
Yeah.
That's what, that's what really makes a difference in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could be doing, especially with what I do, we're technically independent distributors. So we can decide how we want to grow our business. We can open a shop. I can go do 100 craft shows every year. Social media is a big one. For me, like being able to see people every day, like that was just what I know I have the best intention for.
Mm-hmm.
Building community.
Is building community.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many people I get to see every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm not at work, I'll look at the clock. I'd be like, oh, I know Lex is there. I know Aurora is like getting ready for work. And I'm just in my heart wishing them good days, even though I'm not at work. But it's like, that's what I have been building. And I'm so excited to expand on that.
Mm-hmm.
In a different way now,
Mm-hmm.
because I have been opened up in a different way, especially as of lately.
Mm-hmm. Talk about that a little bit. Talk about what's happened, because I'm a witness. I'm witnessing your expansion and growth, and boy, do I love it. I always knew that you will expand, and I know who you are on the deepest level. I can feel your soul beyond our stories. So what I want you to do is I want you to allow yourself to kind of drop into that. What's happened?
Yeah.
What's happening?
So, this is my healing girl summer. That's what I like to call it, because I have never taken the time. I've been in survival mode, so I've just been, pedal to the metal, grinding it out, always at work. I am a mom as well, and I'm a single mom now as well. I've been separated from my husband for it's been 8 years now.
Mm-hmm. Poof, time flies.
Time flies. And recently I have just been feeling like I know that there's more for me. Mm-hmm. So I went hunting. And I started doing things differently. So we've been doing breath work and the sound bowls for going on for 2 years, and that I've integrated to doing breath work daily and writing. My best friend has a gong and sound bowls, so I've been playing with those too.
Cool.
And ecstatic dance has been so life-changing for me, because I was a dancer back in the day. I actually I was an exotic dancer for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And it was the only place where I felt like I controlled everything, because up there, nobody can tell you anything, and that's what I love to do in dance. That's why I became a Zumba instructor, because I knew how important it was to move your body. Even in that type of setting, I was still me to my core, and I did make lots of good money, so I'm not mad about it. And ecstatic dance really brought that back to me. You are a dancer. This is what you're supposed to do, and how healing it was. And it really just opened up, and I just started releasing so many of these just negative connotations and these, ideas that I felt like other people had of me. And I just started bringing that into everything that I did. And then I cry after every ecstatic dance. 'Cause every ecstatic dance, something comes up that is just meant to be released and let go. And the ladies who run it, Awaken Feeling.
Yeah.
They're freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, they're
Sophia.
wonderful beings.
Yes.
Allie.
They've really just made it feel like magic every single time.
Oh, it's magic.
Every single time.
Yeah, I was a big fan. After my first experience, boy, did I have such a big emotional release in the post-dance meditation.
Yeah.
It was good. From there, I was hooked.
Yeah, so that's where I first started understanding this awareness, because I was just battling with, I'm not enough. Why am I not more successful? I'm doing all this work. Why I'm still having these problems and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, being there and that, I started to realize that there's just some hidden beliefs that I've had, and there was just some trauma that was stuck in my solar. So, like, we just recently did the healing circle with the tuning forks. Antonia was amazing. Dr. Sam was awesome. Oh my goodness. Hands of a goddess.
Paco Mary.
Yeah.
The sacred owl herself.
The sacred owl herself, who she is a blessed goddess.
I agree. She's the most powerful healer I've ever met, and I've met plenty all over the world, because she's what brought me here.
Yeah, she was like, she knew that I had to be, like, she kept inviting me. It was in my calendar. So the fact that Mary got me to put something in my calendar twice already, she's definitely, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Because that's something.
It's funny. I always tell her that. You know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing. You were in my calendar. And I was like, I have to go to this because it's in my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely, I have a planner that I write down stuff in for my life. But when it's on the phone, I know it's serious.
Mm-hmm.
So, gratefully, she invited me. I came, and I was kind of like, knew what was going to happen once I picked. So we were all picked cards. We all picked cards, and we were all supposed to pick one. And I picked my card, and I'm going to read it. And before that, we had set intentions, and I was like, my intention is here just to remember. I want to remember who I am. And what I'm here for, because I'm like tired of not battling. I'm battling this unworthiness, and I picked my card, and that's what it in the book says. Do you remember? I'm like, and then I'm like, oh my goodness! I start to tear up, and then I just kind of put the book down. I put the card down, and then it flicked, and I had two cards, and then the second card was rapture. And then that's where I knew, I'm like, I'm there to get rid of this trauma. This trauma that we've been stuck in. And even in our healing, the first healing that we did, you're like, it's deep. I don't even know how long our healing session was that one time.
Don't know.
But
I come out of body. Yeah. Anthony gets out of the way.
Anthony gets out of the way. But I know it was a couple hours, and you were like, you told me that I have to sit in darkness, and I've tried.
Yeah.
I don't even sleep in the dark. But
it just tells you something, doesn't it?
It does. I don't even.
Perfect.
I don't even sleep in the dark.
Yeah.
So I tried, and I was still working with it, and I've been working with it. But I knew in that moment that I was there to release this trauma. And Antonia, I thought we were going to go in a circle. Antonia was like, Jacqui, are you ready? And I'm like, I thought I was going to be last.
Antonia's intuitive. She knows.
Yeah. So, and then we all took lunch after my healing, which is probably really needed. But I got on the table, and I just literally just started bawling. And Antonia was like, and I grabbed my solar plexus, and I was just like, yeah, I know. Like, I know why I'm here. I don't know what's going to do. And we had some other talented ladies there channeling in my I don't know if it was my
Stacy and Maggie.
Yeah,
those are my two psychic advisors.
Literally, like, I don't know if I was even on this planet that day. I think the barn extended into the sky, because I just felt like, how could this all be real?
Because you're a powerful manifester.
I was like, how can all of this be real?
What's happening is just like you were saying, Jacqui, the character's getting out of the way, and you're allowing your soul to guide you.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
And it was just amazing for them to, like, really help, push this energy from me and give me a better understanding, because I thought that this unworthy thought was coming from, like, a past lover in another lifetime. And, I know time is
illusory.
Happening. Yeah. But it was actually like a family member that was sexually abusing me in a different life. And my name was LaRue from the Inca tribe. And she was the one that was getting abused, and knew that I would be the one to help transmute this energy. And my perfect, balance of this female and masculine that I've thought I've just been battling with for my whole life. Like, you know, can't be too guyish because then the guys are not going to like you, and then can't be too girlish because then the girls are going to take advantage of you.
Yeah, that's all the mind, because neither one of those embody masculine or feminine energy. It's not about our sex. It's qualities of the energy is what it is.
Yeah, and they said that, you know, I thought I'm just battling within this and just understanding and feeling that I'm in a complete oneness with that, and then that's what makes, you know, me so powerful. Was able to open up this and let it go. And you know, now my lineage is not going to have to feel like if they're worthy. And it's just like it opened my eyes to everything that's ever happened to me. And I'm like, wow.
And you see its value?
I see it's so value.
Like, wow,
Same
I
with
see
the
how
ice
this all
plunge.
happened.
The ice plunge was like my nervous system was resetted. And like stress became, I'm not going to say non-existent, but
quieter.
Like very minuscule.
Quieter.
Just like a little, you should get your butt going, but.
Yeah. Don't worry, though. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it tells me.
Love it.
Love you. And it's like the more that I open myself to these different ways of healing, the more understanding happens. And I can't wait to do another cold plunge.
We got one coming, I think. I want to do a bunch of it.
August 6th, I think.
Is it?
Oh, perfect.
Don't ask me. I don't know what time it is.
Okay, we'll have to consult Mary.
I think it's
During
Thursday.
the MOSHI meeting.
What's that?
I said there's one during a MOSHI meeting.
We're to do one during a MOSHI meeting?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Not here at Dominic's house.
Oh, at Dominic's house.
Yeah.
Is it on Sunday?
Yeah.
We should get a. What time is it? Do you know? Is it during the 1
to
o'clock?
3, I think.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we should change the time of the MOSHI meeting or do the MOSHI meeting at Dominic's house. MOSHI meeting, ice bath. Come do ice bath.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, that makes more
like
sense. We
initiating.
should start doing that, kind of, I think. I think we should start making our meetings not necessarily always right here. We could meet out in a park and then do shamanic work there, because people are coming to the Ministry of Shamanic Healing and Integration. I think it's important that we continue to help people connect into shamanic practice, because then that develops your own, right? Like we're not, you know, I know it's a church, right? And we have to call it that because the state requires us to. But at the deepest level, what we're trying to do is help you define you, connect to you, what is holy, beautiful. Whenever I do my work, that's what I tell people. I don't tell you, connect to God. You know, I want you to open your heart to God.
Sure,
I'll say open up to whatever it is you perceive as divine, because that's different for all of us, whatever the concept is, whatever the picture is. If I tell you, Jacqui, picture God, you're going to have maybe some sort of idea or a picture of what your mind creates that to be. Then I'll say, go beyond that, and what does it feel like? That is where we find commonality, is how divinity feels within us, beyond the pictures. But yeah, ice baths are amazing. Me and Mary did one. I've been doing them often. My freezer still doesn't work. I haven't used the freezer in a while. But I've been doing them in my driveway at least 3 a week. I go get some ice, put 80 pounds of ice in the tub, and let her rip.
I'm looking because they keep popping up in my, you know, because Instagram and Facebook know what you want to buy. And just like little cold pool plunges keep popping up.
What I would like to do is...
I'm constantly seeing them on my Facebook feed.
Yeah. The little round tub things that pop
there's all
up.
sorts of ones. There's travel ones, and there's ones with circulation built
For
in.
you could do all kinds of things because you have an ice machine.
Yeah.
You know, so you could do anything. There's limitations. I got to go buy ice. You know what I mean? So it's like $11 for 2 bags, you know? So it's like, wow, I'm paying a lot of money for frozen water. And you kind of, for a good ice bath at 100, 120 gallons, you need a good 80 pounds of ice for it to get down to somewhere in the 40s, which is a good temperature. I love using the freezer. My freezer lasted about 2.5 years. I don't know why it failed. Other people's last longer. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Like, it hasn't really come to fruition, if we should buy another freezer, if I should just go for it and do something else. Right now, I'm really focused on us finding a space to do our work in, because what I'd like to do is have an actual plunge. I would love to get my hands on a Morozco, on a forge like our friend Elise Free.
Yeah.
Elise Free has this amazing, I got to use her first one in Florida when we visited her house. It's this beautiful place where people come to do retreats and things. It's a really cool place. But that was the first place I got to use this thing. But this thing's like $15,000.
Yeah.
It's pretty expensive. It's a big investment, but boy, is it cool.
Yeah.
It's really,
And I
really
know,
nice.
like, everybody that wasn't even my first time that I've done a cold plunge. But that was the first time that it was just different.
That's the first time you did it in a shamanic way.
Yeah, I did it in
we
a
put
shamanic
flowers
way.
in it. I blessed the water. I called in your
Breath
spirit
work
guides.
beforehand.
Yeah, the breath work beforehand. All the people that were there all charged up in our energy field. You're on a sacred space, like that sacred space. Like Kevin's been doing shamanic work there for a period of time, and then plus all the other things. There's all kinds of spirit there. The people that live there. Miss Jane, she's an angel in human form. You know, like geez, I love her so much. It's so amazing. So yeah, I understand completely what you're saying.
So different.
Every one of these things is unique to me. I don't feel like one of them has felt the same as the next.
No.
And you'll always see me, I go last because of what kind of being I am. I extrapolate and suck up all the energy. Water holds memory.
Yeah.
So I connect with Mama Unu, Mother Water. And when I get in there, I don't even know I'm in cold water because the energy is so overwhelming. Oh, it's so amazing. And I just kind of drink it in and I let it come into me. So what's happening is I'm bringing in all of the wisdom of everyone that's been there. And then that comes into my medicine gift and I redistribute it into the space.
Yeah.
We're all doing that. We're all sharing each other's space and energy, and this creates a deep learning far beyond the concept and intellectual mind. It's a soul learning or an energy field learning, and that's where the healing happens. Most people don't even know what's happened. They go off from that event and they're like, "Oh, that was a cool event," and they think it's over. No, that's the beginning. Because I love seeing people that I touch and time passes and woof, new versions pop up all over the place. And half the time they don't know how it's happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do. I'm fully aware because I see energy.
Yeah. I was like, after that, I don't think I've ever experienced anything that cold. And my first one was like fire and ice. So we were in the sauna and then we did cold plunge.
Mm-hmm. Totally different. Because when you're in the sauna, all your blood vessels are open and you get in the cold, it doesn't even feel cold until you're in for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But then when it does, it's even more intense. You have to stay in long enough.
Yeah.
But when you're coming just from plain, your plain body temperature without any change and getting into that cold, that's why we use cold water, is because it's 830 times more dense than air, and it can transfer heat 25 times faster than air. So water can take all the heat from your body. And what I always explain to people, I want you to see this as a beautiful spiritual thing. I want you to understand that water isn't just water. She's a living spirit, and she wants to trade with you. She has been here since the beginning. All the water in the planet's the same water that's always been here, because it's energy. It can't be destroyed or created, just change form. It can move into a vapor and rain again. My favorite thing I like to tell people is I like to tell them, that water you're drinking right now, that was once a dinosaur turd. Then they go, oh, how for reference, you'll never forget that though.
Yeah,
you're like, oh,
urine.
No.
yeah. Which urine's okay because that's
sterile.
It's sterile unless you're really sick. Yeah.
I feel like in I heard like in other countries, like they drink it.
Well, I'll tell you, it's called Shivambu. Is the method of using urine therapy. There's different ways you can do it, which I've never done, where you can actually... The thing is, you have to be a healthy person. You don't want to be a person with diabetes and use your urine for therapy.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so the first thing is creating... And when I was full vegan. I was healthier physically than I am now. Not that I'm unhealthy in any way, but I was working at being very healthy so I could use it. You could use it to wash your face, your hair. I mean, you don't leave it that way. You don't walk around smelling like piss. Right. But you use it in a certain way, and when I tell people about it, I'm not ashamed to admit anything like this. Most people are like, ew, kind of thing. Like, listen, you'd have to experience it to understand what I'm telling you.
Right.
But there's really deep teachings of Shivambu where you use your urine and you age it, you ferment it. And
Wild.
There's a convention every year, and one of the guys on the Howard Stern show goes to all these conventions, and they had some that were like aged for years, and it was just black, and they were like, they were having a tasting.
I've never tried that. I'm not open to that yet. But I did use it. I have tasted it. I wanted to see what it was like. And so for anyone that wants to try this, listen, make sure you're healthy, your diet's good, everything's going good. Make sure you feel good. And if you do it midstream. You don't do it at the end or the beginning, midstream. I would do it in the shower. I would just get like a palm full and do it. And then it's really good for your skin, it's good for your hair, all those things. There's deep benefits, and I recommend anyone to check it out. It's not something I practice currently, but it may be something that I revisit. I do see its value. There's deep value to it, actually, if you do the research behind it and take away from the conscious, the unconscious mind, the overthinking mind that sees pee as this bad thing. It comes from you. It's actually got something very powerful to it. And it's not a mistake that it is sterile as it comes from you. It's sterile. It's sterilized. Right. It's passed through your kidneys and everything, taking away all of the impurities. And if you're very healthy, it's holding information and energy is what it is. It comes in. It's a form of informational energy is actually what's capable. But as for, aging it for a long time, I learned about this practice from Troy Casey from the Certified Health Nut. So he's big about Shivambu and doing the Shivambu. That's where I learned it from. He's also the same guy that taught me first about breath work. He's the guy that introduced me to Casey McBride, that brought me into the Pakokuna tradition. So he's been an instrumental. The Certified Health Nut, Troy Casey, has been a very intricate part in my unfolding. And we communicate sometimes. I'm hoping eventually we can get together and do a live stream or something. I would like to showcase him because he's a walking pool of knowledge. He's graduated from the Paul Chek Institute. I don't know if anybody knows who Paul Chek is. He's a very, very powerful kind of underground kind of teacher about being. Very, very great teachings come through him about connection to soul, to mind, to body, to the cellular structures of being. Very deep. I would consider him more of a quantum shaman than, he doesn't call himself that by any means. But that's who he is.
But that's what he does?
Yeah, that's what he does.
All the little molecules.
Yeah, he's very talented in tarot reading. Ooh, he calls it tarot because it's his thing, kind of thing. What's that?
Because it's fancy.
Yeah, he's not a super fancy guy. Is just how he uses the word. You know how like kratom, the technical correct word is kratom.
Kratom.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I would totally call it kratom from now on.
Kratom.
Everybody's gonna have to
pass me the kratom.
Can I have kratom?
And everybody look at you like, what?
Kratom.
Can you remember like the Grey Coupon commercials? You just roll up the window with the little copas.
Roll up in the limo.
Yeah, I call them Americanized pronunciations. Yeah, you roll up in the limo and you got like, would you like some white kratom? Perhaps red? No, green? How are you feeling today? Let me prescribe you some kratom.
Yes. That's what I told Kevin. I'm like, just give me what I need today. Please.
Like a gyro is really a gyro. There's lots of those things, whatever. Almond, you're supposed to say almond.
Salmon.
Yeah, no L on the salmon. Salmon. And then almond, you're supposed to erase the L. It's supposed to be almond.
Pecan.
Yeah, pecan.
Instead of,
Tomato. Potato.
Language is
I can mash potato. I can do the twist.
Curly. I got the curly.
Yeah. How fun. How amazing. Where were
Aluminium.
we? Aluminium, yeah. So that's like a British pronunciation. Aluminium, yeah.
Language is so beautiful in all its different ways.
And a limit.
Dialects.
Yeah, it's such a limit, too. I mean, I do that a lot in my teaching.
You just got to remember how to communicate telepathically.
Yeah.
We're remembering. We're doing it already. We just may not be fully aware of it.
Yeah.
I can sense and feel it, though.
Yeah, me too. It happens all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Like, I hear that. I feel that. Even if we don't know it's happening.
Yeah.
But I'd love to point out how language is a limit. Like here, this is a coaster. This is a coaster. We all know intellectually what this is, but how does it feel?
Right.
Because if you pay attention, there's a memory connected to it. How you know what this is, but along with that are subconscious cues that all come forward. What does it remind you of? Where does it take you to? So right away, the first thing that shows up is I see my mom with her coffee and her yelling at someone else to put a coaster under that kind of thing.
Don't leave a ring on the table.
Don't leave a ring on the table. Use the coaster. So, like, there's memories that are connected, and that creates a feeling. So then how does that feel to you? And that's what I point out to everyone. Everything has a feeling.
Yeah.
That's what awakened feeling, like those fine women are doing. They're helping other people to connect to how things feel, connecting to how you feel. So if we start connecting words, you'll start understanding by how words feel or what objects in your mind feel like, that none of us are experiencing the same story.
Right.
Right? And then that opens up compassion. I don't expect you to see the world the way I do.
No.
But we think that. It's funny how our conscious, the thinking part of the mind, thinks that we're all seeing the same thing, but we're not.
Yeah.
We have intellectuals idea, just even like color. Like, let's just say the color blue. We all know what it is. Like this right here, this little pot, it's blue. We know it's blue because we've been trained to know that frequency is blue. But if I jumped inside of your body
Could look
and looked at that,
different.
it's not going to look blue to me, probably.
Totally turquoise.
Yeah. Yeah, see?
Perfect example. 'Cause in my head, I'm like, it's definitely not blue.
It's definitely not. It's a shade of blue,
It's a
what we
shade
may
of
call
blue.
turquoise.
But, we know how guys see color and we know how girls see color. So.
Well, that might be different for me because I simplified. I'm actually a tetrachromat. So
Ooh.
tetrachromat means I see it's part of my energy sensitivity.
Yeah.
It's always been there. I used to get in arguments with my older sister. She'd tell me what color something is. I'm like, no, it's actually this. And she'd get really, really angry with me because I would disagree, because I can see different. Because what is color? We can only see certain shades of, there's only a few colors that we're actually seeing that all blend together is what's happening.
Yeah.
A tetrachromat might have an ability to actually see other frequencies of light. So I can see these different things, these different shades. I just don't use that language because most people don't know what the hell I'm talking about, is what it is. But tetrachromats, that's something that, there's people who are colorblind.
Yeah.
They have an inability to pick up, because what is color? It's frequency of light.
Yes.
The brain is this has no color. It doesn't even exist, technically. It's just vibrational energy that this thing I call a nervous system gets to observe and feel that. But yeah, it was pretty intense when I discovered I was a tetrachromat. It was actually during some testing I was doing for some other things where they test you to see if you're a tetrachromat, and that's how I first learned about it. I was like, oh, that makes sense why all those fights I have with my older sister when I was a kid, when she's telling me that this is gray, I'm like, it's definitely not. It's a shade of silver is what it is. She's like, no, it's not. There's a blah, blah, blah. All right, we pull out the crayons and I would be able to recite all the colors. This is burnt sienna. I'd be able to know its colors. This is magenta. There's all these cool different colors that are available, and to me they're just frequencies of information. That's how they show up. So you're right, though. Technically, guys are like, that's blue, that's green.
Or if you go on a shamanic journey or a psychedelic journey, you see colors that don't exist in this reality.
Right. Ooh. Exactly.
There's and that much more to the spectrum.
Yeah. They're there all the time for me. Mm-hmm. They open up all the time. There's things I'm perceiving right now that I couldn't tell you what the color is. I'm aware that it has some sort of vibrational hue. There's no English language I have to translate that. So I'd start using Quechua. I'd be like, I'm aware because of what we're talking about, what we're doing. There's an abundance of Kanchai here. Kanchai is unmanifested light, and I can see that in many different colors. I see generally in each human being comes in, there's 12 rays of light that come in. Those are our disciples. There's the 12 rays, and those also correspond with the 12 cranial nerves that we have that connect into our body, that feed the information into our body. So 7 of them I can see, and I can tell you what color they are because those are colors of the spectrum of what we can see. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Those are our primary colors. But there's 5 others that I can't tell you what color they are, and I perceive them more. I'm watching yours. They're forms of vibration. I see it, but I can't tell you the color. Yeah. It's I don't have a word for what the color is. So then we start using words like the Quechua use, and it's like Kanchai, Kausai, Kamaska. There's many different words, tasty words they have for energy.
Yeah, they sound good.
Yeah, they have these tasty words for energy because of their perception of it. You know, so
Yeah.
we're able to connect into
But
there.
like, I'm already interested.
Yeah.
Tell me more. That's a real love language.
Yeah.
That's a real love language.
Yeah, the funny part is it's not a written language. It's had to be translated into a written language. Then that sounds like, well, what were these people, savages? They didn't have a written language? Oh, no, the Inca were very, very advanced. They designed the first roads and everything, which actually led to their demise because when the Spanish came in the 1500s, they did like the same thing the Pilgrims did later on in the 1700s when they came to the Americas. In the 1500s, the Spanish came here, and then they were giving infected goods to the people because they knew they didn't have the immunity to stop disease. And these roads that the Inca devised made it so easy. It's like a pathway, like your vascular system. It sends information and blood everywhere. So actually, that's what helped destroy the Inca Empire was their technology. Their technology was used against them by the Spanish. So when they came in and brought in smallpox and all kinds of things, it wiped out so much of there was like 13 million, somewhere between 13 and 30 million people that lived in the Inca Empire.
Wow.
And most of them were wiped out. Same thing here. Most people don't know when the Native Americans, there was more Native Americans here than there's people now. There's about 320 million people in America right now. They think it was closer to 400 to 500 million indigenous people lived here.
Oh my goodness.
When we came in, I'm saying we because there's no separation.
Right.
It wasn't actually this vessel, but it's all living energy that came here and started to create that change, open that up.
Yeah.
We didn't come here that's what all the stories are saying. Like we came here and we massacred physically all of the Native Americans. We didn't have to. And a lot of it was unintentional.
Yeah.
We brought disease. We brought something that they didn't have the ability to fend off at that time. And that's what killed 90% of the population was killed by disease. The other 10% we did murder.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's what I think when COVID happened and then, people were starting to Google, when was the last plague? And I think a lot of us got into those conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And then now it's like,
well, it's going beyond it. It's understanding energy. If you do what Nikola Tesla told us 100 years ago, if you want to learn the secrets of the universe, think in terms of frequency, energy, and vibration. If you look at this thing that we've given form or life to, this thing we call COVID, and you turn it just into energy, what is it really? It's an injection of energy that's created awakening.
Yeah,
a change.
Massive change.
Right?
Massive change.
If you understand that life is also energy, then you take away the fear that a bunch of people died and that's bad. No, it's not bad because the people that have died are the ones that needed to recycle. Because it's recycling energy. We have to look at it from an energy standpoint. Going beyond these ideas and limitations we put on ourselves. That's my whole understanding of what COVID is. It's not something, I don't even like to use the word. There's been an injection of consciousness. And what has that done? That's changed people's nervous system. Because I guarantee if any three of us here are tested, we're going to show antibodies.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're going to show antibodies of this illness, even if we didn't have severe symptoms, right? Because the symptoms are messengers telling you that there's something that needs to change.
Right.
So some people are going to have very severe symptoms because there's more change that needs to happen. Right?
Yeah.
There's people that were wildly healthy and everything's going right, and it still was capable of taking them down and killing them. There's people with comorbidity that you would think would die for sure that skated right through it.
They were like,
it's because it's nature is what it is. It's natural is what's just all the other stuff too. We can sit here and tell the story of how the Pilgrims came here and murdered all these people and all these things. Nothing happens that's not meant to. It creates a change. That all happens so we get here.
Yeah.
And usually what happens, so like the Inca per se, the Inca were they had a greater connection to spirit and energy than anything we understand here in the Western world, okay?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, if that's true, how were they overcome? Because they came out of Aini. Aini is the divine reciprocity, the balance of nature, or in Hindu terms would be like karma. Is what it is. They came out of Aini. New leadership came into the Inca Empire, and these people weren't spiritualists and connected with Pachamama, connected to the living energies of the cosmos. They were just there for show, and it was all about money. And as that happened, that started to create a degradation of Aini. And when one gets out of Aini, nature will react in a way to create balance.
Yes.
If that means wiping out a population, it will do that because nature doesn't see it the way we do. It doesn't have fear. It doesn't have fear of death because nature knows it's a cycle.
Right.
It's a repeating cycle. So these things arise just like in our life. We're going to have things that we call tragedy. I guarantee. And it's going to hurt. Pain's okay. But it's understanding it's a flow of energy.
Same with like global warming. Like the globe, the Earth has warmed up and cooled down and warmed up and cooled down and warmed up and cooled down.
Over and over.
Over and over and over.
It's a cycle of life. It's a heartbeat.
Yeah, and wiped everything out and then brought everything back to homeostasis.
Right.
But I mean, it was in Aini. And
Earth will generate Aini if it's off.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the eruption of Mount St. Helens in the late 80s spewed out 100 times more pollution than we have in the entire Industrial Revolution.
Wow.
I mean, that's just one natural disaster. And I mean, we've had many natural disasters just in our lifetime.
Yes, definitely.
So, I mean, I'm sure we haven't had a positive impact.
Right.
But
we're not doing it.
We're not doing it.
If we cause enough problems, she'd shake us right off. We're like little fleas on her ass.
Yeah.
on the timeline of the Earth, we've been here that long.
Yeah.
We just got here. We're part of the learning of we're not separate from Pachamama. No. We are Pachamama. We are the children of her. And on a deeper note, I would say we are the strongest part of her living nervous system. We are the most adaptable species on the planet. Yeah. We're smart enough to learn how to adapt.
Yeah, I mean, look how, I mean, we went from, I can't say 100 years anymore.
Yeah.
Let's say 150 years. We went from having no electricity to quantum computers in our pocket.
Yeah.
In 150
just in my
years.
lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just in our lifetime.
Yeah. And the best part is Tesla told us about this over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
He's like, one day you'll have a device in the breast pocket of your vest where you'll be able to send pictures in instant time, in real time, back and forth. He already knew. He saw it because he's a visionary. The thing is that's what people don't understand. Like, that's what I'm trying to help people understand. Each one of us has genius within us. But it's not here. It's our connection to source.
Yeah.
And as we open up to it, and that's what, if you do the reading and you do the deep understanding, like even Einstein, I was just recently doing more research about his brain because it's available. He donated his brain to science. It's on slides, and it's in a university type museum in Germany.
Munich, I believe.
Yeah, I believe I think it's Munich. It's in Germany, and I was watching this recently, but they even went into his things, and he would do things that they at the time were calling thought experiments. But he wasn't sitting there thinking. Socrates did the same thing, thought experiments. They said he'd sit there and be in deep concentration. He wasn't. He was sitting there being open to receive. That's where Tesla's pictures and everything he ever created happened inside of him. The most beautiful things he created, he never put on paper because he knew man would pervert it and ruin it. Yeah. He created something. Did anybody ever hear of the thing called a death ray that he created?
I think I've heard of that before.
Yeah, but that's what the people called it. That would have ended war on the planet because no weapon would have prospered. Planes come to advance, the planes would fall out of the sky because these are forms of energy in which he could shoot into the place. They're using them now. They're using them for, like, the governments are using them for crowd dispersal now. You'll see these little Humvees come into an area, and on top of it's this big speaker-looking thing, and you can't hear it. It's beyond, because our sonic ability to hear, we can only hear 0.035% of the entire electromagnetic and acoustical field. So these are frequencies that you will never hear, but all of a sudden you'll feel like your body's on fire because this is all electrical and chemical kind of reactions, energetic reactions. So I've watched these things. They'll come into a crowd, instead of rubber bullets, they'll turn this thing on and nobody can hear it. And then people just take off running because they think they're on fire. Right?
That's insane.
We already have these things all over the world. They're using them against CIA's using them on people, all kinds of things.
They change weather patterns too.
Oh yeah,
DARPA. Yeah.
This smog thing that's been happening. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not either.
No.
I'm like,
But I can handle it too. Thank goodness I know how to breathe, and I've recovered from my lung disease. Otherwise, I'd be having a really hard time right now.
Yeah, definitely. The morning that it was really, really bad, you try to stay inside. It's like, I don't even know how to drive with my car windows up. Like,
Yeah, I love breathe.
I just couldn't. But breathwork does really, like, for my sinuses, I had severe allergies.
All gone.
This is like the first. When I mean Healing Girl Summer, I'm not playing. I haven't taken an allergy pill all of the spring, all of the summer.
How cool is that?
I'm like, I am changing my life for real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so amazing. It's so beautiful. And it just to think that I suffer, it's like, I'm sorry, little Jackie, I just didn't know.
Yeah, I know. My whole life.
You were outside playing with washcloths on your face.
Yeah. I was like born with respiratory illness. I've had respiratory illness my whole life. Like when I was a kid, it was constant colds, earaches. I had my tonsils out like between second and third grade. I had like a huge lump full of lymphatic drainage that wasn't happening in my neck. They removed some of the lymph nodes from my neck. I was sick like my whole life, it seemed like allergies and sinus stuff, consistent. Like it never was a time. The only time, and I love telling this story, the only time in my life where I didn't have like severe sinus issues is when I was a cocaine addict.
Just clearing up those sinuses right
Yeah,
now.
it was great. I could breathe fine, and like I would just laugh. Like I just did coke for 2 days straight, and I can still breathe. Like what the fuck is going on? Like I thought it was just the goofiest thing. But Mary too, the same thing. And then I started to download from Spirit certain breath patterns, and I actually have a video that's for sinus and all these things where I'll take you through something that I do regularly, like a practice to tune up that because it's a nervous system problem is what it is. It's not an allergy problem, it's a neurological problem. Like I've had all kinds of allergies I've come back from. I used to have like allergy to figs. It's like fig Newtons, I'd get hives. Strawberries, I'd get hives. Penicillin, which I don't really take at all anymore, but I used to get hives. Bee stings. There's been so many layers of illness. There's probably things I haven't discovered yet as well that no longer exist in my reality.
Yeah, dairy for me.
Yeah.
My body can handle dairy again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to have severe reflux.
I haven't really tried anything
I used to have horrible acid reflux. Like it destroyed my teeth.
That's what'll happen. Acids.
Climbs up your esophagus while you're sleeping and just pulls in your gums and eats away at all your...
GERD can happen. You can have all kinds of things, heart problems, all kinds of things related to that. Yeah. But it's amazing what we're capable of doing. What else can we do?
No more problems.
I was like, how does it get better than this?
Show me.
Wait.
Show me.
I'm open to receive all that is open here. That's what I'm ready for.
Yes, I definitely am embodying that a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Just being open to receive. It doesn't even matter. Like, I'm cool. If I got to cry for a day, let's go. It's fine.
Cool. I'll cry with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all it takes. Sometimes that's a really powerful thing. In our tradition, it's called sitwa, where we just actively listen and hold the person. Like, not even physically so much. It's like when I sit here, if you were going to sit here and start to open up to me about something, I would shut off my intellectual thoughts, and I would instead view you as the golden Buddha, as a perfected human, a form of Jesus, because that's who you really are. When I open up and I sit here with you guys right now, I have an awareness that we're God, that I'm looking at pieces of the one. Mm-hmm. And that's beautiful. Then you don't see problems. Like, because when I first started into the shamanic path, my mind was geared in a way where all I could see is the brokenness in people. Now all I see is the beauty. I see that. I don't think anything's broken. I think there's just these twists.
Yeah.
There, I see it more as disorganized or disharmonized energy.
Unprocessed data.
Yeah. I used to always think like everyone's broken. That's how my mind used to work. And I think a lot of people's mind worked that way. But now I understand that nobody's broken, even the person I'm judging. And we live in this really crazy society now where there's this really powerful thing happening where there's people who have been in relationships with people that have severe emotional trauma, calling them narcissists. We got to step away from that word, okay? Because that's a labeling. You are labeling someone else to make me feel better. And that's a form of separation. All I really see people that have been in that are two people that have unresolved emotional trauma. The person that is what they perceive as I'm a victim of this narcissist. Right. Well, you needed that to happen. You drew that towards you. And what we don't want to do is label ourselves, and then, like I always say, there's 3 levels to healing. There's victimhood, there's survivorship and warrior. And then there's creator. You have 3 modes of which you can be. And we want to move out of that warrior, because warrior is separation. I'm fighting you. I'm fighting against this. People say, I've been a victim of narcissistic abuse. I was like, do you realize when you're saying that, you're still a victim?
Yeah. Because it's not even
what you want to say is, I've been in a relationship with someone that had a severe emotional trauma, and it taught me a lot about myself. And I pray for them every day. And I'm grateful for their teachings to me, because that's how I feel. I grew up with a narcissistic mother, 2 narcissistic sisters, my daughter's mother. Like, it was a repeating pattern because I'm an empath and was pulling that towards me. But I also can tell you that my defense network and everyone's can create a form of narcissism. Each person that you see in the world at one time or another has committed some sort of what we call a narcissistic act due to fear. So that's why the pointing of we live in a
survival.
Right.
Yeah, everybody
we have to forgive them. I forgive my mother. I forgive my daughter's mom. I forgive the people these people, we don't condemn them, because that's what we're trying to do. That's what this world is trying to do, is condemn these people. But all that does is make it more separated. Yeah. We want to say what the truth is. Why does that person act that way? Because they're severely hurt. Yeah, they're really hurt. And if we look at it that way, now we're not victims
just trying to give it to you so they don't have to hold it anymore.
Now I'm in the space of creatorship because I understand you, and I'm not labeling you. I'm not making you different than me. I'm understanding you.
I'll help you process it, but I'm not going to take it for you.
Yeah, I'm not
going to hold it for you.
That's
it's not mine to hold.
Yeah, I'm not going to put this together. Right. I'm not going to create something that holds me down.
Yes.
We do that when we label things, right? That's what happens. And
you identify as
there's
that
an
label,
explosion of that happening.
And then you just rest on your laurels and become comfortable in your misery. Mm-hmm. I know it's wrong.
Yeah.
And then now I have something to identify as.
Now I feel safe. The known.
The known.
No thanks. Take me into the unknown. It's my favorite place to be.
Give me some pills to manage symptoms and.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good, important place, especially as healers, to know where that boundary is.
Mm-hmm.
I can help you, but I'm not going to take it from you.
Yeah, no, and it's not mine to hold.
And I'm not going to let you come and say the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Let's come up with a solution. I don't want to hear you bitch.
What we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break. And we're back. We had to take a quick bathroom break. But now we're back. And we have some tasty drinks. What did you get, Jackie?
I got a Heal Me Daddy.
Heal Me Daddy. That's a good one. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. That's really nice. That's really good.
Jay Sean special.
Jay Sean is creative, that's for sure. Kabuki juice, that's another one he's created that I really enjoy.
I think he's going to make a Hurt Me Daddy. Maybe a Choke Me Daddy.
I'm ready. I'm down for more. I'm down for 2, 3, and 4.
I love it. All right, Jackie. So we're gonna get towards wrapping it here. But what I want you to do is I want you to share with us currently. So what's your goals? What's your plans? What do you want to happen? Let's manifest. What do you want to see? What do you see? What do you want to happen?
Well, I'm definitely in expansion mode for sure, especially when it comes to what we're going to be able to offer at the shop. We do a lot of drinks, so I definitely want to get some stuff in there that we can chew on.
Yeah.
So we're going to be launching protein donuts, our waffle balls, and our acai bowls.
Waffle balls? That sounds so good.
So everything's going to be protein-based, of course, and our acai bowls are going to be what I feel is going to be the most beneficial, because acai is has a lot of really great health benefits, but then you're also not just getting fruit in that, you're going to be getting protein and a complete meal replacement in that as well.
Cool.
And then we're also expanding upstairs. into our studio space where we're already, teaching Zumba and a lot of our workout classes. I want to start adding yoga, more breath, more healing sessions. And we're all going to be very woman focused because I know that our community really needs a space to call their own when it comes to like health and fitness. I know a lot of women are always like, I go to the gym, I just feel like everybody's watching me, or it's just a place for women to come and just feel safe and supported. And I don't.
Yeah, we're working on creating a whole world that's that way. So that's our focus.
Yeah. So upstairs is definitely going to be like that. We're opening it as a studio first, and then as a lounge as well.
Cool. I love it.
That's what we're doing business wise, and then expansion beyond that. I'm just tapping in. I'm definitely just trying to figure it all out. A lot of my singing is starting to come back. I did a little karaoke here the other night. That was really fun. This is like my second podcast that I've been able to be featured on, and I definitely love this space, and I definitely want to be able to expand on that as well.
Good. We look forward to having you back to see how the progression goes. Yes. Talking about where you are now and where you're going. That's what we're going to do with this podcast, is try to have recycling people. So after you get some more experience, because that's what it's all about, taking the knowledge, turning it into applied knowledge, gaining experience, and then you can bring your wisdom here. Yeah. I want to thank you so much for bringing your loving wisdom here.
You'll have to try some of our MOSHI meetings.
Oh, yes. No, definitely. I'm definitely going to start coming to these MOSHI meetings. I keep hearing so much, especially if we're going to start doing ice baths and stuff. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
We have a healing circle coming up on the 29th, so if you don't see this before the 29th, come see us. We'll have more after that.
I could do an ice bath here. I have an ice machine.
That's true. Ooh. I'll bring the tub. I'll be right back.
Just run down the street.
You won't stop me. I don't live too far from here. In a few minutes, I'll come back. I'll come right back. Get the ice ready. Get a bucket, a couple buckets.
My suit is still in the car. I'm ready.
My tub's sitting in the driveway. I just got to empty it because me and Mary took ice baths yesterday afternoon. How we capped off the afternoon.
Oh, that's a lovely
After some hiking, we're shamans, we're Pacos, so every day, even though we're busy doing things, we're very good at creating structure to create self-care, to create that spiritual connection.
Something I need to get better at.
Because I teach everybody to indulge, open yourself, love yourself through your practice. So I lead by example.
Yes.
My practice is A1. My practice is the most important thing about my reality. Because if I'm off practice, I'm off balance, and then my reality shows it. There's nothing more important. There's no business, there's no time, there's no money. There's nothing that's more important than the balance of my being. Without that, there's nothing.
And every successful business person has that in one way, shape, or form.
It seems that way.
I've definitely noticed, you really have to be able to take care of yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Can't pour from an empty cup.
Not create from an empty space. Everything that you do is with love and intent. It's going to show up that way, and it's hard to be that way if you're not taking care of yourself.
I totally agree. Jacqui V, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being on here. What's that, Dave?
Said all things I need to hear.
Yeah, we're medicine for each other,
This is like what you do is the same thing I do. And I'm in my third year of doing it, and I'm there was times where it's like you don't understand why you keep going, but deep down inside.
Oh yeah, no, I love what I do, and I mean I haven't stopped. It's just taking time for myself, moving my body, working out. Like I used to hike. I mean, before the kava bars opened, I used to hike 10, 15 miles a weekend.
Well, the good news is you have a Paco brother that's open all the time. I just am not going to force you. I'm not going to pull you by your ear because then it doesn't work. Yeah. But I'm always here. I want to work with everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to start working out. And
let's get some muscles. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll challenge you. We'll get a couple inches here. By Christmas,
I just gotta get rid of my little belly.
Oh, I can help.
No, man, that's a Sami tank. That's not gonna happen. If you notice, great Pacos have bellies. Okay.
I don't want a belly.
That's well, then you're not going to be a good Paco. You need the Sami tank.
Sami tank.
It's a Sami tank.
Just a little flatter.
We could work a little flatter,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got time. I can definitely help you out with that,
I
sure.
love my belly. It's furry softness.
It's
To
just
each his own.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working to get some
starting to
fat
get a
left.
little bulbous.
Well, that might have to do with some of the candy. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah.
I have been eating a lot less though.
Yeah?
I started taking this new
I know what you're talking about.
probiotic, and
Mhm.
it really helped curve my.
Your little
Mhm.
sweet tooth.
What's that?
You said you have a nice little
Oh,
sweet
yeah.
Yeah.
tooth.
Big time.
All of the stuff living in your intestines that beg for sugar. We all have
Yes.
those things. So join us for a
They used to
MOSHI
beg
meeting.
for alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Which
sugar
turns
too.
into
That's sugar.
sugar.
Yeah, that's sugar
And now
too.
they just beg for sugar. 'Cause I
Yeah.
don't
Give
know.
me candy. Candy.
I mean, I quit drinking 10 years.
And we have bowls of
So-
candy here at MOSHI, at Sacred Waters. Come to a MOSHI meeting. They're open to everyone on Sundays. About 1:30 we get started. You'll come in here,
And it's
we'll
lovely.
sit down. It's
Have
fantastic.
a Heal Me Daddy.
Have a Heal Me Daddy or whatever you like to drink. Come visit Sacred Waters. I recommend it. It's a beautiful thing. Check out the Positive Pineapple, thepositivepineapple.org if you're looking for shamanic healing or shamanic teaching, sound baths, ice baths, all kinds of stuff we do. Wellness. We're into extreme wellness. Check us out. Check out, I do a live stream Tuesdays and Thursdays on YouTube and other platforms. Check that out. What else, Dave?
MOSHILove.org. Come check out our MOSHI website. There's a link there to for membership. It's for all tiers. We're just currently working on creating abundance in order to get our own space and
Open up a healing center.
open our own healing center.
It's on its way.
First of many.
First of many for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Oh, if you're in the food service industry, check out Pan Stackers.
Oh yes, yeah, my invention. It's an incredible solution for storage and organization in commercial kitchens.
Yep.
Panstackers.com is the website.
Panstackers.com.
Or just stop by the cover bar and I'll tell you all about it or give you a demo.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and you can stop at Old Brooklyn Nutrition. We're over not too far from the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo.
Mhm.
You can follow us on Instagram at old.brooklyn.nutrition. You can follow me on Instagram at its_Jacqueline1333.
Jacqueline.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jackie. Big love to you.
Thank you. Big love to you guys. I appreciate it. I can't
Love you. Yeah. Look forward to having you back and getting some updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful day. Love.
I love you.
Peace and chicken grease.
Love y'all.
This has been the Quantum Shamans presented by MOSHI with David and Anthony. We look forward to seeing you next week for more insight into who you are and your place in the universe.